guys? It's the MMA Analyst here to give you my predictions for UFC on Fox. Big event. First things first, to anybody who's looking to bet, this card is a bettor's dream in my opinion. I don't say that every fight. Sometimes I even tell you, it's tough. A lot of pick'em fights. This is not that in my opinion. So if there's a time when you want to start betting on MMA, hit me up. I'll send you the links, etc., etc. But don't miss out on this card. All right, so let's get right down to it. Junior Dos Santos versus Cain Velasquez. All right, I see it like this. Junior Dos Santos is a hard-hitting, powerful striker. He trains with the Nogueira brothers. He's been doing well in the UFC, obviously. Yeah, he made his debut in the UFC against Fabricio Verdum, and he hasn't looked back. Stefan Struve knocked him out, submitted Crow Cop. It was really a verbal submission due to punches. Gilbert Ival smashed him. Gabriel Gonzaga smashed him. Tough fight with Roy Nelson. Came out swinging, and Roy Nelson took everything he had to offer. Gassed a little bit in that fight. And then Shane Carwin, blasted on Shane Carwin as well. So you take a look at what he's done in the UFC and the fact that he's only had that one loss, and there's Joaquin Ferreira, 13-1. Where are his weaknesses? His biggest weakness is cardio. That's his biggest weakness. Also, he hasn't really had to face that real wrestler. Like Shane Carwin, say what you want, he's a wrestler. He's a lot smaller than he used to be. When he was able to kind of just muscle people, it's because he was just a really big guy, and he's not that big guy anymore. Shane Carwin went from he's as big as Brock Lesnar, who also isn't that big anymore either, down to, some kind of vegetarian, slimmer Shane Carwin who doesn't have that weight advantage. He hasn't had somebody that's really just going to come out there and, if they want, can push the pace. Also, Shane Carwin, right? He's not the kind of guy that can go out there and take downs. And we see he gasses, right? Right. He's also an old dude. He started fighting, I don't know when he started, but he's 36 now. He's been in the UFC since 2008, so he got to the UFC at 34 years old, and he started fighting damn near in his 30s. So, it's a little bit different situation than what he's going to be facing for the first time in his career, which is the heavyweight champion, Cain Velasquez. Cain Velasquez, undefeated. He's been out of commission for a while. That's the only issue with Cain Velasquez. If Cain Velasquez is active, fighting every 4 months or something like that, twice a year, that's all right. But he hasn't had a fight since he smashed Brock Lesnar. But if you look at Cain Velasquez, same thing. Smashed Brock Lesnar, as I predicted would happen. But anyways, smashed Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira, which I did not predict that at the time. Ben Rothwell, did his thing there. Czech Congo, and that's the fight we're going to take a look at real quick, or at least talk about, is his fight with Czech Congo. Cain Velasquez has shown a lot of improvement with his hands since that fight with Czech Congo, and a lot of improvement with his planning, with his game planning and all of that stuff. What he can't afford to have happen is him come out and play the standing game. Like, oh, we'll see what happens. Let's just try and get in. Yeah, he's got good hands, and he's comfortable. He's got good head movement. He's fast, keeps it straight down the middle. Very solid with the strikes. I think he will have a speed advantage with the hands over Junior Dos Santos, but what he cannot afford to do is come out here and get clipped like he did against Czech Congo. And Czech Congo, I think, clipped him like 3 times, dropped him 3 times, and it was each round. So he wasn't getting smarter. Since then, he hasn't faced anybody that dangerous on the feet. Nogueira does have some power, but he's slower with age, and Brock, come on, he's no striker. Anyways, I think what's going to happen here is Cain Velasquez is going to, this is what he needs to do, is just get the fight to the ground. Go out there, throw a few punches, stand on the feet just long enough to not give it away so obvious, and then get the fight to the ground. If he does that, I don't see Dos Santos being able to pop back up to his feet. We'll see. You know, he does train. He's got his jiu-jitsu going, and he's with the Nogueira brothers. But who do they have with the wrestling? Who do they have to try and hold him down? Who do they have with that kind of cardio that Velasquez has shown in the past? If Velasquez is not ring rusted, and if he doesn't play the stand-up game, I don't see Dos Santos doing anything other than getting tired, getting pressured. Maybe it's takedown attempts, pushed up against that cage, ducking low, grabbing a single, or whatever it is. Pressure, and Junior Dos Santos quickly getting tired. And then it just depends how much Cain Velasquez has in him, and how effective his ground and pound, and how effective what he's going to do on the ground is. It could be 25 minutes of Cain Velasquez trying to finish Junior Dos Santos. It could be 25. It could be 15 minutes before Junior Dos Santos is just so damn tired. Somewhere in the fourth round, he stops. TKO, rear naked choke, whatever. But and really, there is a possibility that Cain Velasquez comes up there and stands, and one of them gets knocked out in the first. I don't think that that's what he needs to do. I don't think that's what he's going to do trying to defend his title. I think he's going to go out there, get the fight to the ground, and try and wear out Junior Dos Santos. I do see that happening, and I see a TKO victory for Cain Velasquez in the fourth. Next fight, Ben Henderson versus Clay Guida. If this was like a year and a half ago when it was smooth Ben Henderson, right? I would pick Clay Guida to come out here and just be aggressive and have that sweaty, nasty, smelly hair all over Ben Henderson. This hair on the head, all over Ben Henderson, and Ben Henderson on his back trying to stop submissions, or trying to stop, that wild but mostly ineffective ground and pound. But this is not smooth. Ben Henderson is not who's been fighting in the last couple fights. Smooth is gone. He absolutely destroyed Jim Miller. He did the exact same thing to Mark Bocek. And I think it was basically because of what happened in that Anthony Pettis fight, and he just said enough is enough. So an aggressive Ben Henderson, with his ground game, with his decent striking, with that cardio for days. I mean, that's the thing about Clay Guida. Clay Guida, the reason he wins is because really he's just a hard worker. What is he really, really good at? He's got, he's just able to just keep going. His striking is not good. His submissions and whatnot, they're solid. They're solid. Let's not get crazy. He's got he's got a solid submission game. But it's really just his wrestling and his ability to just keep pushing. And against Ben Henderson, I think he's going to just run as fast as he can straight into a brick wall. And Ben Henderson is going to be like, I got this, son. And I think Ben Henderson is going to do to Clay Guida what Clay Guida tries to do to other people. And I say tries to because I think Ben Henderson is going to get the stoppage. Or if it's not, and Clay Guida is hard to stop. So that's saying a lot. Let's make one thing clear. This is the fight of the night. For the last 4, 5, 6 events, every time I said submission or fight of the night, for the most part, I'm getting them. This is the fight of the night. Clay Guida is going to be going 100 miles an hour. Ben Henderson is going to be going 100 miles an hour. These guys are going to meet in the center of the cage. It's just going to be crazy. So you're going to have to watch this on Facebook and Fox Sports or whatever, because the main event is the only thing that they're showing for that hour. Again, I don't know if that's going to have I don't know what's going to happen. If it's a 25-second Junior Dos Santos knockout, people are like, all right. Well, I personally believe that the UFC cannot be sold off one fight like boxing used to be able to, because boxing was selling massive draws. This is a big, humongous fight that everybody's been waiting a year for, and here it is, and they don't even care about anything else. The thing about the UFC that's so good is they have, for the most part, exciting fights and solid fights with contenders all throughout the card. And that's what makes UFC cards so interesting. If I was tuning in on a Saturday as a casual fan just to watch 2 heavyweights fight, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get captured by many heavyweights in the first place, because they're just the least talented of all of the divisions, just because they're so damn big and slow. Cain Velasquez is an exception. Junior Dos Santos also an exception. So hopefully things go well with that. Next, Dustin Poirier versus Pablo Garza. Garza's tall as hell. Doesn't really utilize it that great. Coming off of a win over Yves Jourdain, it looked like Yves Jourdain kind of gave that fight away, but nonetheless, good win for him. Flying triangle choke, submission of the night. Before that, Fredson Pacquiao, flying knee, solid win there, or solid looking win. And then he had lost, his last loss and only loss was at his final fight at lightweight, where he lost to Zhang Taekwon. But against Dustin Poirier, I don't really see him being able to pull off the striking to get it done. Poirier is going to be able to not get submitted, and he's going to be able to outwork Garza as well. I think it's going to be a situation where Poirier is just tight, doing whatever he wants to do, takedowns, striking, ground and pound, whatever it is. But I do think probably it's just going to be on the feet or probably on the feet, or maybe Poirier taking it down, doing some ground and pound, passing guard, and all that good stuff. But yeah, I do have Dustin Poirier being able to do whatever he wants in this fight, and I say second round TKO for Poirier. And last one I'm going to cover, I think, on this will be Cub Swanson versus Ricardo Lamas. I'm taking Ricardo Lamas. I do think that I mean, he should be able to get the fight to the ground. If he wants to. I don't think he's going to get submitted off of his back. Cub Swanson, he is training with Jackson Submissions, with Jackson Submission Fighting. He is coming off the win over Mackin Semenzer. When it really comes down to it, the only losses he's had have been to pretty solid fighters: Chad Mendez, Jose Aldo, and a 2000 version of Jens Pulver. Trying to think about when Jens Pulver really fell off. It was a while ago, but I don't know. However, his wins, he has a decent win over Hiroyuki Takaya, Donnie Walker. It's a tough one here, but I do think that Ricardo Lamas is going to be able to come away with the win here. Probably a decision, to be honest. Probably win all 3 rounds, and so I am going to go with Ricardo Lamas by decision. And actually, let me just touch on Demarcus Johnson being able to get the fight to the ground against Clay Harvison and submit him, right? That's pretty much as easy as that's going to be, I think. First round submission for Demarcus Johnson against Clay Harvison, who really, I don't think he brings much to this fight. Undercard. Kid Yamamoto, they really want to get him a win. I'm picking Kid Yamamoto over Darren Uyenoyama. I think that this is basically the UFC saying, look, man, we want to keep you. We don't want you to lose again because we want you to go fight in Japan. I think that's what this is. If somehow Yamamoto loses, then that'll be his, he'll basically be 0-2 in the UFC, 1 win in his last 5 fights. That's not a good look. Demetrius Johnson was definitely a tough fight for him. Anyway, so I do have Yamamoto defeating the lamb that they have sent to slaughter. Mackin Semenzer, Robert Peralta. I've got Robert Peralta. Cole Escovedo versus Alex Caceres. Cole Escovedo definitely should win that fight. Mike Pierce making his debut, I think, at middleweight. I think Mike Pierce will win that fight, most likely by decision. Aaron Rosa versus Matt Lucas. I'm going with Aaron Rosa. So there you go. UFC 1. UFC on Fox. Hit me up if you need any links. MMA, it's important. Peace.